Welcome again to Practice Group International, where I teach you exactly what ETS requires of you to earn a respectable passing score on your TOEFL IBT. Hello, my name is Mr. HEARN, and I am your TOEFL tutor. In this video, we're going to talk about the TOEFL IBT listening section and how you can easily improve your score. Now, I say the word easily, and that's relative. Remember, everything is hard until you know how to do it. But once you know the way that ETS wants you to do things and you do it their way, man, does it get easier. So let's get into it. All right. So let's say that you're struggling on the listening section. Let's say that maybe you can score 19, 20, 21, but you need to score 22. What I say is, why not score 25 or higher on this section? Why not score 28 or 29? It is possible. You know they give you the answers, right? It's a multiple choice test. Not only does ETS give you the information you need to answer each question, but they give you the answers as well. So why is it so hard to earn a high score on this section? Well, ETS knows exactly how you think. They know exactly how to stress you out. They know exactly how to trick you, mislead you, to fool you. They know that you are very intelligent. They know that you're highly educated. They know that you were at the top of your class. They know that you are really a high-level performer, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here. So with all of your great abilities, why are you still struggling with the listening section? That's it, the listening section. We'll get to the speaking section in a minute. Ooh. Hey, what's going on with this listening section? What's slowing you down? What's preventing you from getting your respectable score? Well, think about it. When you're thinking about the listening section, first of all, you just came from the reading section, which I'm sure was stressing you out. And so you're exhausted to begin with. And then you get to the listening section, and maybe you have the normal passages, and maybe you have an experimental section, which is even more stressful. But what's really going on? What's really going on in your mind that is preventing you from getting that high score? Let's say that you're a high-level performer and that you really know English and you are excellent at taking notes. But in the listening section, you don't know what to take notes on. And so you end up taking notes on as much as you can. Keep in mind that while you're writing, you're not listening. And while you're listening, you're not writing. So you're missing things in the passages. And you may think that they're just talking too fast. Well, there's basically two reasons why you might think that they're talking too fast. Number one, perhaps your English skills aren't quite as high as they need to be. And so you're translating between your native language and English. And so that makes it seem like they're talking too fast. Or if your English skills are great, you're writing too much. And while you're writing, you're not catching all the things that they're saying. And so you're having to catch up, and you're saying, oh, they're just talking too fast. I can't keep up with writing as fast as they're talking. Okay, so what can we do to help you? Keep in mind, my whole life is designed around helping you pass this stupid test and get on with your life. So what can you do to be able to take fewer notes, but take more relevant notes and use those notes to eliminate wrong choices? I can't say answer the questions. You don't answer the questions. You eliminate wrong choices and pick what's left. It's the structure and rules of the TOEFL that you must follow. All right, before you go any further, please, if you're finding this information at least a little interesting, if not useful, subscribe, like, share, ring the bell so that you can get the notifications for all the new videos that I'm putting out on this new channel. ETS is changing the test again, and as they do, I am creating new videos that will help you to pass your TOEFL IBT with less stress and more confidence, no matter how many times you've failed the test before. You can't do things you don't know how to do. But as soon as you understand what ETS wants you to do and you practice doing those things, it gets a lot easier to earn a high score. So let's talk a little bit about taking notes. Now, most of my students have very little difficulty with the conversations, okay? But it's the lectures that give us a hard time. You know, these lectures sound like they're going on forever, but they're really only about 4.5 to 6 minutes long. They're not very long at all. But what makes them difficult is that ETS puts a lot of extra information in the passages that you're not going to be tested on. And so you end up taking more notes than you need. And then when you go to answer your questions, you have too many notes and it's confusing. Or you may decide that, forget it, I'm not going to take notes anymore. I can't write as fast as they're talking. I'm just going to listen. Well, ETS has a trick for that too. They have choices that are in the passage that I call them memory triggers, that there will be something in the passage that matches that choice, but it doesn't answer the question. Keep in mind that the test isn't hard. It's just tricky. And ETS makes $5 billion a year tricking people. So what can we do? Well, know this, that the test isn't hard. It's just tricky. They put a lot of information into the passage just to give you anxiety and to confuse you. They're not going to test you on everything. Just like the reading section, where the passages are long and they don't ask you about everything, on the listening section, the passages are like in the reading, they're a little longer, and they put extra information in these passages, and they put information that's intimidating, like extra words or terms that you don't know, you're not familiar with. And that's intimidating, right? And it's confusing. So what do? Stop taking so many notes. ETS has a very specific structure of how they present information. And they have a very specific way of asking questions. And if you know how they're going to give you the information that they're going to ask you about, you will know exactly what notes to take. And you'll be able to use those notes to eliminate wrong choices in the questions that follow each passage. Now let's talk a little bit about taking notes. You know, if you're a high-level performer, you can really write, but it's not necessary. This is really a short memory test. Remember that the TOEFL IBT, the test of English as a foreign language, internet-based test, is not a test of English. It is a test of college readiness. It's a test of study skills. What they want to know is, hey, can you take notes in a class where the professor's talking? Can you take notes of relevant things that you'll need to know about later? That's all they want to know. So what we're going to do is understand the structure and rules that ETS uses to give information that you're going to use to eliminate wrong choices. And I say eliminate wrong choices because if you're trying to pick the right answers, you're not going to be able to improve your score. It's all about the rules and obeying the rules. So let's talk about a few things that they use to give information. One of the things that they do is whenever they say certain words, your brain's going to go, aha, they may ask about this. Words like reason, example, cause, effect. When you hear words like this, you're going to say, okay, what are they talking about? And what do they say about it? Write down the topic and a little bit about what they said about it. Now, don't make full sentences. It's a short-term memory test. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down the topic, and spelling doesn't count. No one's going to look at your notes. So write it down phonetically, okay? But do not write it in a foreign language. Write it in English, please. Know your English, write your words in English. Write down the topic and a couple of words that they use when they're giving a description of something or saying about what something does. And what you're going to do with these notes is you're going to use them to trigger your memory to what did they say in the passage. This is important. When you see the question is going to be about a certain topic. And you're going to say, okay, to yourself, you say, what did they say about that? And then look at your notes and say, where is the topic that they're talking about? And then your brain will say, oh, yeah, I remember what they said. And then you're going to use your memory to eliminate choices that you don't remember hearing anything about, or you heard something about that topic, but they didn't say whatever it says in that choice. In other words, you see the question, you know what they're asking about, and you say to yourself, what did they say about that? Look at your notes, and your notes will prompt that recording in your mind to start playing. And you look at your choices, you say, well, nope, they didn't talk about that. They did talk about this, but that's not what they said about it. I'm not sure about this one, or this one is kind of sort of like what they said. And oh yeah, they didn't talk about this one. Pick the one that's either kind of sort of like what they said or doesn't make sense. Keep in mind that ETS is doing everything they can to trick you. They know that high-performing students want to be sure you have the right answer. And you don't want to pick something that just doesn't seem quite right. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like that, but not really. You want to be sure you have the answer right. And if it's something that doesn't make sense at all, you're like, no, that doesn't make sense. People will pick something they know is wrong before they'll pick something that they feel doesn't make sense. And ETS knows that, and they use that against you. So the test seems so unfair, doesn't it? But really, it's fair because they have very specific structures and rules for you to follow. Now, if you'd like to know more about how to answer these questions, know more specifically about how to take notes and how to use your notes to answer questions quickly, easily, and accurately, so you can get your high, or I should say, respectable passing score and get on with your life. Isn't what this is all about, is that you can pass this stupid test and move on with your life. So you can either go to university or go into your career, start making some money. Okay, if you'd like to know more about this, please go to the link below and subscribe to my online video course, where I have a video that tells you exactly what ETS requires of you to earn a high score. And by the way, while you're there, join my TOEFL community, where you can talk to other students and you can ask me any TOEFL questions you have. Every other weekend, I also have a live Q&A, and you're invited. So do yourself a favor. Stop struggling. Stop doing what all of these tutors that are telling you that they have no idea what they're talking about. Do what I teach you, right? Go to my video course, subscribe. There's several different options. Pick the option that's best for you and start learning exactly how ETS wants you to work to get a high score on your TOEFL IBT. All right, again, take a moment, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, share, ring the bell, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.